my new computer. So let's see if we can get a little bit more light. There we go. We got a little more light. Let there be light. So let me switch this around. So what I'm doing is I'm running the Ryzen Master program. And basically, I'm doing an auto overclocking. So what it's doing right now is putting my CPU under load with different clock speeds. Now, this is a 4.6 gigahertz max CPU, but look what it's done. This is my maximum, and it's exceeded it. And look at that. That's my maximum temperature allowable. We're at half that. Now, reason being is that we've got this big old giant Thermalright assassin. Hey, everything guy. Oh, cool. Well, I thought I'd do this just, impromptu here. And everybody check out Everything Guy. Go to his channel and hit his thumbs up. So, yeah, it actually is a very nice setup. I built it last weekend, so I'm still optimizing it. So I'm using the AMD Ryzen Master, which can't get any easier. So what it's doing, it's running the curve optimizer right now, and it's putting my CPU under load. And it's trying different clock speeds to see what temperatures it would reach, to see if it throttles at any of these clock speeds. But that clock speed is really, right now it's running at 3.4 gigahertz, but you can see it can run at 4.6 or better, which shocks me. And because I have such a really good air cooler on it, one of the best, it's called the Assassin 120. It's a twin tower, two 120 fans in it. It's only running at, at 40 degrees Celsius right now. It's trying it at different clock speeds. So watch what happens when it pushes it a little bit. You saw it at 4.6, but look, but it was only at 48 degrees Celsius, which is really cool. Now, the cool thing about the AMD Ryzen 7 5700X CPU is that it actually is very efficient in power. It requires very little power in order to produce really good results. It's one of the big reasons I bought it, besides more cores, and it allows me to use Gen 4 M.2 memory, or SSD drive. But look at that. It is now at 4649 megahertz, exceeding maximum capacity. But look at the temperature. 43 degrees Celsius. And look at the current. 1.159 volts. My CPU voltage. If this was an Intel, okay, it would be up in the 90s, okay, in temperature, Celsius, and sucking up voltage like you would not believe. Another reason why I didn't get the Intels, they're just power hungry, heat producing, creatures. This is an AMD chip, so really impressive. Now, after it goes ahead and does its auto overclocking, I'm going to rerun the Heaven benchmark. Now, I already ran the Heaven benchmark, and max frames per second was 450, if I remember right. Lowest was 60 something. Really good at 3.4 gigahertz. But if this thing can clock me over if it does 4600, that's awesome. But, and the way it's set up, it probably can. But, I want to run it in the 4000s and see what it does in the Heaven benchmark. So it's really pretty cool, actually. So, and this is a very simple system to run this Ryzen Master. You don't have to be smart, and I ain't too smart. So I'm running this. It's got another 14 minutes to go, and I'm kind of curious at what the end result will be. In fact, I'm extremely curious. Now, I went to the lake today. I didn't do any fishing. I know, it's disappointing, huh? But we did measure the ice. I mean, I worked today, so couldn't do any fishing. We measured the ice, and the ice is 27 inches thick. I don't think I've ever, I mean, in this area, I don't think we've ever had it that thick. That's just the ice. You still got about that much slush and about that much, about 2 feet of hard snow on top of it. So basically, you're 2, 4, 5, about 5 feet. You got to dig in and then punch through with an extended auger. Now, we did put a guy in a hole that we tested, and it wasn't very far out, but it was about 9 feet, 10 feet deep, which is great for trout, and it turned out to be really good for trout for him, and crappie. He caught 5 crappie and 2 nice-sized rainbow trouts. So our crappie in our lake, our black crappie, isn't very big, you know. But the trout I saw him keep was, one was probably about 15 inches, the other one was about 17 inches. So 2 very nice-sized trouts. Very nice-sized trouts. He was very happy. He's from Minnesota, Minnesota, and he check out everything, guys. I'm live right now. Hit like on his, hit like on mine. Thumbs up, and stick with me for another 13 minutes. And I really want to see what this does. Now, when I ran the Heaven benchmark, my GPU got up to 82 degrees Celsius, which is acceptable, and stayed stable. Never exceeded 82. And this isn't very old GPU, the graphics card here. I bought that about 8 years ago. New from NVIDIA. And one of the reasons I got it is because it has a lot of CUDA cores for the money. I mean, I think 1,300 or so CUDA cores. Now, I do a lot of creative stuff, as you guys see. So we're going to, this is the, there it is. That's my, that's the GeForce GTX is the 1060. See, just above it on the motherboard, that's an M.2 Gen 4, and just below it, that heatsink on the motherboard, that's my M.2 Gen 3. So Gen 4 and a Gen 3. And then down at the bottom is my Wi-Fi PCIe card. So I don't use Wi-Fi, it's a backup. It's simply a backup for me, and I'm hardwired in here. But if something ever happens, my cat pulls it, I don't know. If anything happens to my hardwire, I've got my Wi-Fi as backup, and for $30, And we have Wi-Fi 6E here, which is about 15%, give or take, slower than a hardwire. Now, my wire isn't the best wire, and it's traveling probably about 80 feet. So I'm sure I've lost a lot there, but still very, very fast. So things got 10 more minutes left on this curve optimizer. I've never run it before. I tried to manually clock it. Didn't work. So we're going with the auto mode, and I was afraid to go to 4.6 CPU clock speed, and this thing's got me at 4.649. Its max is 4.6, so I really CPU farther its maximum range. So, and this is an AMD chip and it's an AMD program. So we're just in suspense. If I can get 4.6 stable out of this CPU, which I think I can, I mean, it is what it is, but I've got a really good cooler. It's only 45 degrees Celsius max. It's less than half of its maximum allowance. This will be interesting. My computer, when I create my 3D models and environments, will it'll just be faster because when I make 3D models and stuff like that in video, it's heavy on the CPU. So the better my CPU, the more cores my CPU has. If it uses a lot, if I can run at 4+ megahertz all the way across all my core sets, it's going to do really, really well. You don't use your GPU much in modeling, and so I mean it's important. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it'd be nice if I had, an 8,000 CUDA core GPU instead of a 1,300 one. But and one more in a different architecture like Pascal, which this is a Pascal architecture. And I know it probably is all Greek to you, but all those words and stuff make a big difference in creating stuff. If I was a gamer, which I am not, I did get one game because I wanted to play with it a little bit. And then I got this thing. This is a gaming mouse. Look at all those buttons. It has 20 buttons. I'm kind of intimidated by it. It's so funny. I was teaching my son how to drive today in my truck. And I wanted him to drive us home from the lake on the freeway through the snow a little bit. Not much snow on the road. And then down the mountain, over a mountain and stuff like that. 30 miles on the freeway. And I drive a stick. So I'm teaching him how to drive a stick, a manual transmission. And so I want him to learn how to, if you could drive a stick in the snow, you could drive anything. So he, after we got him in gear, he's a brand new driver, and got him on the freeway, he was a little, you can imagine the nerves. And first time driving a truck, a stick, out of first gear. I did take him in first gear around the resort a little bit. Get used to stop, start, stop. Stop and starting a stick shift is probably harder than anything else for somebody learning. Because you don't even have to use the accelerator to shift gears once you pass into first. So you can just mash on the clutch and then pull it into the different gears and not have to accelerate. But once we got him on the freeway, he was so worried about the instrumentation, the RPMs, the speed, and things like that, that he would, his eyes would leave the road here, there, there. And one thing about, learning how to drive is multitasking a little bit, having one eye here, having one eye there, sort of taking in the peripheral, sort of absorbing it. And that takes practice. So he did really good. In fact, we went up one large hill and in fourth gear. It's a 6-speed. I just kept him in fourth. And he didn't build up enough RPMs going up the hill. He lost his RPMs. Therefore, we were slowing down on the highway on the hill. So I told him, I says, you have to shift down into third. So he did that. He did it pretty good. And we got our RPMs up and we got speed back going up the hill. And it's about, and then at the top of the hill, I had him pull over and I took over because he was scared. It's scary. But he did a really good job. I'm very proud of him. And learning how to drive is a rite of passage. and he learning how to drive in the snow with a stick shift is, well, it's pretty intimidating. And but you just got to do it. You just got to do it. He successfully uh, moved the transmission from four-speed to four-wheel drive to two-wheel drive while we were driving. He knew when to do that. And that was a really good thing, because as I drive and him in the truck, I teach him a lot, what I'm doing. Now I think, now that he's actually gotten a little bit of time, and now he's looking at my feet and how they're working, but I'm also telling him, I says, look, I do a lot with my clutch. And so when you have a stick, the clutch can be used for speed, control. So you can feather the clutch in order to you know, adjust the speed, and that's real important to understand. You don't, you're not in gear completely all the time, especially if you're going to be in town, because you're going to. That poor thing would be doing this all the time. So understanding the clutch and feathering it in order to adjust your speed was it's something. It takes practice. I might just take them. My mom taught me in a cemetery, so I might take them to the cemetery. Now the cool thing about cemeteries, and there's a lot of jokes that you can make, that a cemetery has a lot of intersections. And so he'll have to stop, start, look both ways. We'll do a little role playing and stuff. And when my mom felt I was comfortable, she was comfortable the way I navigated a cemetery, then she let me drive home. So I don't know if this town's small. I'm not sure exactly where the cemetery is because I haven't really buried anybody. But we'll see. Hit the thumbs up, guys. And check out everything, guys. Channel, he's doing a live 2 right now. So we're 2.5 minutes away. Let's look. All right, so you can see the clock speed that it seems comfortable at. 41 degrees Celsius with it's not even half. That's about half-ish. It's actually running really, really good, and that's because I got this massive air cooler on it. That is a massive air cooler. It's a twin tower, 7 tube, blah, 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 blah. But we are 95%. 2 minutes left. I'm real curious. I've never run this program. And this is the AMD Ryzen Master. I've got the AMD Ryzen 5700X 8-core processor in this computer. And I'm running this thing in order to have it choose an overclock speed, because I want more power. And we are 1.5 minutes, 1 minute away. All right, I'm really curious of what it chooses. I don't know if it'll choose anything. I've never run the program before. I tried to manually overclock it, and that didn't work out very well. So what ends up happening, if the temperature gets too high, it does something called throttling. So it'll actually lower this, and it'll go ahead and control itself so it doesn't, damage itself. So, all right, 30 seconds left. Dun, 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 dun. What's it gonna do? I don't know. Anybody else know? Anybody run this, the Ryzen Master? Come on, 30 seconds left. Let's see what it does. It says that it stops and starts the system. All right, curve optimizer values have been optimized. Curve all cores can be applied through curve optimizer. Click OK to continue with Ryzen. Okay. What does that mean? What's that mean? Curve optimizer. Oh, let's turn it on. Current curve optimizer mode processor is operating in. What's it do? Anybody else use this? I don't know. Start optimizing. Didn't I just do that? Curve optimize all cores. Optimize the system for best It says this mode is off. All cores. Huh. Well, that clock speed's really low. And that's because it says using anything right now. That's what I tried to do. I tried that. Let's see what my core sets are. Creator mode. See, they're all set to 3400. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to overclock it. Oh, no. Okay, it's overclocked. Auto overclocking. I did that. I tried manually overclocking. That didn't work. Anybody know how to use this? Okay. Probably not. I don't know. Nobody's saying nothing. That's annoying. TDC. Boost CPU override. Game mode. Curve optimizer. It says run the curve optimizer mode off all cores. I want to run it all cores. Push all auto. Start optimizing. May result in multiple system restart. Please save your work. Close all applications, which I did. Optimize values are. I did this already. Start over. I did that already. Start optimizing. Optimizing curve up. Okay. Start up. Oh. That don't work. I know it. See, I'm learning. I used to be smart. I really used to be smart. Curve optimizer included. Excluded. Auto offset. Boom, boom, boom. Excluded. I don't understand why. It says curve optimizer. Default precision boost. I want precision boost. Allows processor to run beyond the default infrastructure limits up to the limits of the board to potential achieve higher sustained frequencies. That's what I want. Overclock, auto overclocking sets maximum boost frequency higher than the stock frequency. I just tried that. Difference offset values adjust the derived offset value before apply. For example, if derived values is negative 25 and the difference offset is 5, then RM applies negative 20 as the offset value. I have no idea what that means, so I ain't doing it. All cores, start optimizing. I already did that. Boost override CPU. Minimum of, I did that. Okay, curve, auto overclocking, start optimizing. Why did it say start over? I just ran it. Anybody else have an idea on this? Save profile, discard, apply. Well, home. It is running at 34. I want that on auto, not on default. Game mode, auto. This is profile 1, curve optimizer, basic view. Why is the curve optimizer off? Why is that off? Settings. Test duration, 30 seconds. Stress test, application. On. Oh, that didn't say anything. Apply and test. Auto. I did that. Apply. Applying configuration request Ryzen Master to restart Windows. Then Ryzen automatically open. Wait for it. Okay. Nice thing about having a really fast computer. Watch how long it takes for restarting this beast. And consider yourself, consider your programs at home. I mean, this thing is so fast. It takes like 15 seconds total. That's me. Cartoon me. That's right. Oh, num lock's not on. Dumb lock. There we go. That's me. So, it's booting into Windows. It is so fast. It's so fast. It's an M.2 Gen 4, 2 terabyte, chip. So that's doing something. So hopefully it's taking the information it ran. And all right, let's finish setting up your PC. Back up your files, blah, blah, blah. Remind me in 3 days. Yeah. I don't want to back up my PC. So there's that. And come on, baby. Pop up. Bring me that window. Okay, it's doing something. Really hoping that window pops up. And we want that. Say okie dokie. And okay, clock speed looks better. We're going to go advanced view. Creator mode. Curve optimizer. Curve optimizer mode. We want all cores. I think I have to apply that. And basic view. Apply. Why is... Oh, good. So now, okay, look at that. Oh, that's me. That's it. Now, this, instead of saying off, it's saying curve optimizer mode all course. So that's good. So we're going to hit apply. Changes, and we should be really good. So let's, okay, so now I want to see what it's running at. MSI Afterburner, what's that? All right, so MSI Afterburner, core clock curve, good, good, good. GPU, overclocking scanner, from scan. It says gotta wait a few minutes. Oh, I lost everybody. I know, it's geeky stuff, huh? Hey, random. I know this is geeky stuff. I know. But in order for me to do what I do, we gotta do this. I know it's probably not very exciting or anything like that. I gotta take my pills, my medicine. Oh, let's see how long. It says please wait a few minutes. So we're gonna wait a few minutes. Now we've got the auto overclock on. We got the curve optimizer on. Oh, this is this MSI? Oh, this is for my graphic card. I've already done this. Not doing that. I'm going to Windows, Performance. Oh, yeah. Nice. So, this is what we've done. So we were running at a steady 3.4 gigahertz. Now, because I've got the curve optimizer on, we are now running up in this area here. And it's varying it instead of stable, but it's just running it at an optimum setting depending on what I'm doing. So really nice. And it's running really cool. So this is doing really well. There's my card down here, 39 degrees. And my CPU, you can see the base speed is 3.4, but we're running it at 4.3. So, and that's that curve optimizer that's working. And so now, I'm happy with that for the moment. And I am going to run another benchmark called Heaven. And I ran this benchmark earlier, and I'm curious of what it will do now. So it's the most beautiful thing that you'll ever see. It really is gorgeous. And we're going to run a benchmark. So now it's benchmarking. Watch this. So this is the Heaven benchmark. It's basically a gaming benchmark. It helps us to see ray tracing and stuff like that. And so you can see down there, FPS is frames per second. And it keeps track of minimum and maximum. And then up here, you're able to see, my memory, graphics, things like that, and what it's doing, and the temperature. So this will actually this will actually get to 82 degrees, 62 degrees, my graphics card. But it really is an absolutely stunning render. As it's rendering, it's also playing music in order to work and put a heavy load on my computer. It has 26 scenes. It's on scene 7 right now. And this is a really cool benchmark. This will tell me the difference before I overclocked it, on base, which is 3.4, to this auto overclocking. Now, this is the type of modeling I do, so this is really nice. We're at 250 frames per second. See in the lower right-hand corner the frames, upper right-hand corner what my GPU is doing. It really is beautiful, isn't it? It's a fantastic scene. Now, ray tracing, it does a lot of something called ray tracing. Ray tracings are shaders, reflections, things like that. So, as it goes through these tunnels, you can see the flares, sun flares, the shadowing, things like that. That's what it's testing right now. And it's going to get in a really dark area soon. Now, mind you, this is a television screen I use, 720p. So I know it can look so much better, but until this breaks, I ain't going to see anything better. It is a 18-year-old TV, though. 18 years old. So now it's going into a very dark scene, you see. And all these scenes have a purpose, and it's working my GPU. You can see the temperature is now 79 degrees. It'll max and stop, hopefully, at about 82. And that's typically what my GPU's running temp would be on something this graphics heavy. At 82. It's 79 degrees right now, so 250 frames per second. Now, my old computer would barely run this thing at 40, frames per second. It just wouldn't do it. So it's doing really good. You can see the minimum frames was 63, maximum so far is 448. And then I want to compare before and after on the overclock on this. And we are almost done with it. This is the last scene. And the last scene is really neat. It's a nighttime scene coming into the morning, lights turn off. Really pretty. Okay, so now we've got, my CPU is still running at 3400. I don't know what's going on. Hi, custom, yeah. All right, score is 6609. I'm going to save that and put it in my documents. So my score was 6609 on this. So that's my score, 6609. So now I did this auto overclocking, so we're going to quit this, and 6609 was that. We are going to now look to see if indeed it made a difference in performance. Let's see, there it is. Open my file, go to my documents. All right. 6609 was that one. So by just doing an auto overclocking, this was my old one at 6527. And we went to 6609. So literally, this is by overclocking it. We got a better score. Weird, huh? Yeah, we did good. So we increased the performance. We increased the performance by doing this auto overclocking thing. Now, what I want to try to do next, just trying to get the most out of this beast is what it is. I know, guys. It's techie. I know it's techie. I know. But, when I do my lives, when I do this and that, I just want the best experience for you guys. I also want to be able to create a lot of the things that I want to do. So we got auto overclocking mode. I'm going to go over here and curve optimizer, precision boost override. I'm going to do that, all cores. And we're going to try a precision boost override instead of, and what the difference there says, let's press run beyond the default infrastructure, limits up to the limits of the board to potentially achieve higher sustained frequencies. And the other one, boost frequency higher than the stock frequency. So we're going to try this. And it's going to restart my computer. And we're going to try this. Again, I really want to see what the best performance is on my, that I can get from this. I could manually do it. I tried that. I think I didn't do it very well. So now it's restarting into Windows. Now we're going to run Heavenly again. It touches pretty, huh? That benchmark is really pretty. This will be the last time. So what I want to do, I want to compare the three settings and see which one actually gives me the best performance. All right, so let's go to basic view. Boost overdrive, very good. All right. All right, so now we're going to open Heaven. And we're going to run the benchmark on that again and see what our score is going to be. And we're just going to run this. You can see it again. And there it is. This is probably from a game. I don't play games. But I do 3D modeling. And it's what are we at? Only 300 frames per second. Our minimum's still very above all the others. You can see the minimum down there. So far is only 108. Our minimums on the other settings were in the 60s. So I'm really, really, really curious to see if we can produce a much better performance. Stop refocusing. Sorry about the focus, guys. It's just my tablet is wigging out. I love dragons. I have a lot of dragon models. I love dragons. The autofocus is my tablet, not my computer. Okay, computer's crisp and clean right now. So there you go. It's in focus now. Sort of a steampunk world with a dragon, you know? I love steampunk too. Steampunk is so much fun to make in 3D modeling. So our minimum frames dropped to 61. We're at max 364. It's interesting. 77 degrees on my GPU. This is everything working hard right now. CPU is underneath all that heatsink and that. So, but I'm not worried at all about temperature of my CPU. I mean, it's just not gonna, it doesn't matter. Because my temperature of my CPU is just heavily done. We're at 18 scenes right now, and so we're going to run this and see what happens. And then I've got one more benchmark to do, and see we're at 80 degrees on my should max and stabilize at 82. So on my GPU right now it's 79, 80, fluctuating. And my max frames per second is 450, 449.2 right now, which is really fast, by the way. Scene 22 of 26 right now. We're in scene 23, we're coming onto the ship, and then we're going to end up having that nighttime scene into the morning. So 24. So I love that morning scene. So here's the morning scene. Lights turn off, the sun rises. All right, now let's see what it does. Let's see her score. Interesting. I mean, it's just so interesting. It went a stable 3,400 megahertz, which I don't understand that. 6563 is our score. Let me save that. It just continues to run. So, all right. So that's my graphics, and let's pull those up again. It was so interesting, you know. 6563, 6609, 65. It didn't really do much, did it? Didn't really do much. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to run another benchmark now that we're going to run the Blender benchmark. I think I have it here. Let's run Cinebench. We'll run Cinebench. I'm going to run a single core. So what Cinebench does, it also does for modeling and gaming and stuff like that. And it creates these little squares, and it's going to make an overall scene and measure how fast it does it. Um, in this one's case, lower. I think the higher the score, the better. Um, so my score on this thing was really high, 16,000. So before I did any of this, so this is I'm running a single core right now, and I'm gonna run that a little bit and see what happens until it puts one on the list here. Usually it takes a few minutes. It's actually a 10-minute thing, but we're not going to go the whole 10. But you see, it says it's running at 3.4 gigahertz. I think I'm doing it wrong. Any of you guys know how to overclock a CPU? Because it's still running at 3.4 gigahertz. I want it to run in the 4000 or in the 4s. That's what I want. It just doesn't make sense why it's doing that. I need to watch more videos, don't I? And learn how to do it out of that program. That's what I need to do. Because evidently that AMD Ryzen Master didn't do that much. You know, it's not a catch-all, know-it-all thing, evidently. I know. But we're working on it. Oh my goodness. I really want a good overclock. That's why I bought this big giant CPU cooler. So I can run this, see. Alright, it posted after one pass. And let me see what it 15,758. It's very good, but it's not what I want. What does this have to do with fishing? Well, Barnes, quite a bit actually. Because my YouTube channel, I do a lot of post production. So I'll go out on the lake, I'll do some video, and then I'll bring it back, and I do a lot of post production on it. It's not as easy as, I do a lot of lives, but when you do post productions, even lives, when I paint over there, and it has a lot to do with media, even though it doesn't have a lot to do with fishing. It has a lot to do with communicating the channel. What editing software? I use 2 different editing softwares. I use, actually 3, depending on what I want to do. I use Magix Video Pro, Create Studios, and DaVinci Resolve. I don't like Adobe. I love Adobe After Effects, but I don't like Adobe Premiere Pro, and it's just, Premiere Pro is a very sluggish, yucky program. You think Adobe would have a better program, but they don't. So, but DaVinci Resolve is extremely good, and so is Magix. They both do something a little bit different. So when I want to do a piece and create it within Create Studios or Magix, or I could pull it into DaVinci or do something in DaVinci and put it over into the others. So I know so what I'm trying to do is just get this particular new computer I just made last Sunday, and I want to overclock the CPU. So yeah, Adobe does get bogged down. It's terrible. It really, I don't understand it. I mean, you get these little windows that pop up every once in a while too. And even with this nice computer, it doesn't do a very good job. So I just want a workstation so I can make better videos for you guys. And I do like doing other things. I mean, like 3D modeling. So, the um, Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is a really cool. In fact, a lot of games are made in Unreal Engine. But I enjoy working within the Unreal Engine environment just to create fun stuff, short films and things like that. Um, what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to my task manager, going to my performance screen. This is so interesting. But see, look at this. This is interesting. So right now, my CPU is running at 4.2, 4.3 gigahertz in this new curve. So, and look at my base speed is 3.4, which is what the base speed, but it's running much faster. So maybe I'll just leave it on that. Leave it on this and see what happens when I go into my editing software and stuff like that. It's going to pop open DaVinci Resolve. Now, DaVinci Resolve works better with Intel than it does AMD, but somehow Intel communicates well with DaVinci more so than AMD does. So we're just going to open a trailer I did the other day. And so, there you go. So this is DaVinci Resolve. So this is a trailer I did the other day, a book trailer for my science fiction series. And I did some modeling. And you can see it actually is doing really well. It's real time. It's nice. So maybe this helped. This helped a little bit with overclocking this. What I did. So I'm gonna make that go away. So okay. So I have another program, DAZ. I have tons of models in it, and I like making ships and stuff in it. I try to learn Blender, but it's so hard. My brain's broken. You guys know that with my strokes. That's why I talk one side out of my mouth right here, because my left side is partially paralyzed. So I haven't quite. It's not going to come back. It's just not going to come back. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a spaceship, a very complicated model, by the way. And a space shuttle is a simple model. I'm going to go with a capital ship here. This thing has it is a very complicated model, and but I'm going to scale it down. So I'm going to do this. I do so much in modeling that, okay, so you guys can see this spaceship. Okay, so this is in a 3D environment, and this is a very complicated ship. Lots of different surfaces to it, and you can see it's a beast of a ship. It's a carrier. So what I want to do now is animate it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it fly over us. I'm going to put a camera here. I know, guys. This is my perspective view. So there's my camera. And so I'm going to take my ship and I want to fly it over the camera. Sort of like a, I don't know, Star Wars thingy. So I'm going to go into my time bar and I'm just going to 100 frames and 20 frames per second. It actually adds a really cool effect to it. And so go over here and now I'm going to create, come on, come to me. Aye. Alright. Zoom away. Okay, now go to my camera and watch this. He's gonna fly over. There's my ship. It's a little flyover scene. And what is he stopped at about 50? Alright, yeah. So now I'm going to render this. I just want, again, I do, you look at the intros of my videos. There's that bass that swims like this and then comes right at the camera. That bass was done on this program. I did it the other day on a live. So you guys can see what I go through a little bit on this. And I'm going to do this in 1080p. And let's give it a background. Put a background in here. And sky dome. We'll just put a sky dome in here. And where is it? Stuck it right there. That's a silly thing. I'm gonna take that off. Alright, so now I got sort of the earth there. It's kind of in my way. Let's move him out of the way. I'm going to take the earth and move it out of my way a little bit because the ship is going to pass right next to it. So this right here is going to be an interesting thing. It really is. And again, what I'm doing is I'm making a scene. It's a complicated scene, by the way. I need to look at it in NVIDIA. Yeah. Let me look at my camera. I'm going to take the earth out of there. And I'm only going to render right there. I'm curious of what the what a frame would cost, to how long it would take. That'll tell me how long a movie would take. What a distant light. I know, you guys. I know. It's kind of boring. This is what I do, though. It's what I do. It's what I do in order to make trailers and stuff like that. All right, let's just take a snapshot. This will be interesting because this will tell me, times 100, how long it would take. 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 15 seconds. 22 seconds, 24, 25. For one frame, 30 seconds. 35 seconds for one frame. Now you take that times 100, there you go. So 35 seconds is 3,500 seconds to do 5 seconds of video. So that's 3,500 is 35 seconds. So it would take about 50 minutes to do this complicated model with this. So not bad. I won't bore you with that anymore. So, but it has a lot to do with what I do for all of you guys. It really is. I do a lot in these programs in order to produce a good product for you guys. And I want to make a better product for you guys. I know. I want to make a better product. And the only way I can do that is by creating a better computer so I can go ahead and do some really cool stuff, for my videos, for you guys. Now, I do have other hobbies besides fishing, and we're in that period of time to where, and I'm in between seasons. What else am I going to do? Paint baits, make videos. That's what we'll do. So I know you guys all left me right now. I know it's been an hour. I apologize, but we did make some headway on this. And you'll see some better content from me as I get better at filming. I'm not very good at that. But on my boat, I'll have a setup on the boat. Preferably, I'd like to have a human being on the boat with me to videotape, and have a videographer out on the boat. So it would be really nice to do that. But thank you for the thumbs up, guys. You can tell my screensaver. This is my wallpaper. Gone fishing. So it's just, I have a lot of learning to do with some of the stuff. I mean, some of it I'm old hats with, like that program I just showed you. But, you know, when it comes to 3D modeling and stuff like that, it's all about lighting. And just like anything. And that's what we'll do. But anyway, thank you guys. For those of you that stuck around as long as you did, I know it was boring, but overclocking a CPU is something new to me. And we successfully did it. And we got better performance. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys at the next video.